YouTube, Salivate Metal here, and Greece is the word. What we have heard is that very soon there will be a deal struck between Angela Merkel in Germany and Greece on a bailout in exchange for some compromised austerity measures. Now, of course, austerity in Greece, the people have voted against time and time again, part of which would include not only draconian cuts in government services, but also higher taxes on the rich. And of course, Greece is essentially a socialist state or something very close to it, enough that where we're seeing failures in the system. And government is the problem here. And when a large majority of the population, in comparison to other nations, is essentially employed by the government with a retirement age averaging around the age of 52, and shorter work weeks and the like, you're going to get this type of thing. It's no surprise. Socialism fails everywhere it's tried because eventually you run out of other people's money. And this is the case with Greece. And of course, France is experiencing, and honestly, even here in the United States, we're leaning much more in that direction than ever before, especially with the advent of Obamacare and the like. So, very sad situation. Hopefully the lesson will be learned in Greece, but as is the case, they're kicking the can down the road, and just like we do here in the United States. And so what does that mean for us here? Well, it means that it's a lesson that could be learned by watching what's happening there as to how we deal with our situation in the United States and in other nations. But nonetheless, a lot of the pseudo-intellectuals that went to the schools of the day have essentially become beauty school dropouts. And it's a shame because essentially that means that they've become the unrated version of Dumb and Dumber. But I hearken to say that Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn probably have more brain cells in dealing with some of these matters than some of those at the top in big government situations. But what does that mean for precious metals? Well, you see here some gold and silver before you, and the prices have essentially stabilized a bit. And it's fascinating because they were going up or they were going down with the talk of Greece going out of the Eurozone and abandoning the euro and going back to the drachma. And but since there's a chance that it will stay within the euro, the prices have gone up a bit, stabilizing the euro at least temporarily. And it's an amazing correlation because we're seeing the same thing with quantitative easing. The quantitative easing that's been happening not only in the United States, but essentially around the world has staved off the hike in precious metals prices. And I believe they want to do that as long as possible. But just as my analogy between the steroidization of the money supply, where you're injecting essentially steroids to keep the value of them up, everybody's hurting, and the dollar is at the top of most of the other currencies out there, and hence why you see a strong dollar. But everybody's essentially hurting, and eventually it will come back to bite us. But the precious metals are here, and they will remain intact and will remain solvent because no matter what happens to the currency supply, this supply here of gold and silver is a hard, tangible asset and money, really. And they do mine it every year. There is a supply of it. It is constant. It is not quite as rare as some people say. Now, gold is still rare, but it is treasure, whereas silver is used as a commodity in industry and the like, but also as a precious metal. But nonetheless, they can only artificially value these things so long. And I do believe there is some manipulation out there. And even though the supply is robust, even with the U.S. Mint announcing that there will be a limited They're essentially suspending sales for a couple of weeks here. They will come back online in August, and you will be able to buy them. But I believe that silver is undervalued at the point. This probably is a good time to buy. And gold is undervalued as well, but not quite as much as silver is. But I believe these prices are low. And as for me, as to what I can afford, I will continue to purchase them and not be swayed by the low prices. But just keep an eye on the markets and the situation, and we'll go from there. But all we can do is hold on. So I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.